Hello, Bitcoin anarchist here, reporting from sunny USA. As you can see, I'm in the park, relaxing, and today I wanted to talk about the system. What is the system? So, Max Kaiser called it Casino Gulag, which is kind of very close to what it is, because it makes you work for coupons that the system produces at will, just for nothing. Say out of thin air, as we say. So as they print more, the inflation goes up, the poor get poorer, and the rich get richer because they hold all the assets and the means of production. Right? It's a pretty simple supply and demand. Oh, a dead bird. Okay, sorry. So it is all a little bit more complicated than being a serf, but basically, like our planet is, you can kind of see it divided into zones, and some zones are better zones for the inmates and the slaves, and some zones are horrible. Like, for example, Jeff Booth is using the analogy of somebody working in Africa to mine cobalt for whatever, like $1 or $2 a day, and they'll probably, all these people will be dead of lung cancer or some injury or other health implications because the production is unsanitary. But there is a lot of Teslas in USA, right? So the slaves can buy a Tesla here and keep feeding the system, so more Africans can die in a cobalt mine. It's kind of like that, right? So they're actually using us. Like, and the more educated and the more privileged you are in the system, the more you're brainwashed by it, right? So you really have to be on the margins of the society, or pretty much like very well educated and specifically looking into those things. Like for me, for example, I was always fascinated with history, art, science, all that, so I couldn't understand how come we have such a huge, profound technological progress, but still we have poor people dying of hunger, and even us, me, I live in the Western world. I was born in Soviet Union, a country which does not exist anymore, so it collapsed. It was a Gulag system. It wasn't even a casino. Like, you just had to work for the system, for the owners of the system, and most people were poor. So I have a little bit of experience of that, even though I only saw like the last stages of the collapse. But I've seen money become worthless. I've seen all the trickery that the government and the central banks can do to basically destroy your wealth, especially if you keep your wealth in the coupons that the country prints. Like you are a victim of the system, and the system is just some people who have power to print money and keep themselves in power. Like, it's the same thing as always has been. The nobility and the serfs, the slaves and the slave owners. It's just now it's more sophisticated and veiled under like a civilized veneer. But basically it's all the same. Like we have lower classes of society who just can't raise their head and just have to work to survive at the bottom. Then we have more or less educated classes, which are like engineers who are maintaining the somewhat smooth running of the system. You know, we were like, if you're an engineer and you're making weapons, so, you know, you're making the war happen. Even though you might say, oh, it doesn't matter, somebody else would step up and make those bombs, right? Somebody else would do the same thing I'm doing. There's always somebody else, right? Somebody who will take the paycheck from the slaver and become like a step up and do the master's beating. So now we are in that situation, right? And Jeff Booth says that you can step out of the system step by step using Bitcoin. I kind of agree, but still most people won't. So the system will probably violently collapse at some point unless all the people of goodwill, you know, armed with Bitcoin, step up and actually put brakes on that collapse and take over. We're just gonna, you know, continue flying on our planet, destroying it, killing more people in the process, and then at the end, somewhat you will also be under the wheels of this Moloch. So, what can I say? Have a nice weekend. The world is effed. It's our fault, and it's getting worse. Have a nice weekend.